Welcome to First Time Watching. Rachel McAdams is back in the new movie Send Help, where an employee and her insufferable boss become stranded on a deserted island. They are the only survivors of a plane crash and must overcome well, hating each other and work together to make it out alive. Except that is not really where it ends, so let me explain to you how it does end, right after a movie recap. So please, like, subscribe, and hype up the video as we dive into the recap of Send Help. Linda is the workhorse of the company. Her colleagues use her and steal her work, but she doesn't even get invited to go for drinks after. Luckily, for her, tomorrow is the day everything changes, because the boss is dead and his son is going to take over. She is in line to become his vice president of the company. He even flirted with her this once when he was drunk at a Christmas party. Now, she has a sad life. She lives alone with her bird and is absolutely obsessed with the show Survivor. That next day, Bradley Preston is introduced to the department, and Linda jumps up to talk to him, but he can't get over the fact that she still has food on her face. He tries to get rid of her as quickly as possible, but when he returns to his office, there is tuna fish on his hand. He wants to know who this woman is that defiled him. So Franklin, his assistant, explains that she is Linda Little, next in line to be vice president, but Bradley tells him hell no, Donovan's going to be VP. Franklin tells him that's an awful idea. He needs Linda because Donovan will bankrupt the company. So Bradley comes up with something even better. She can bring Donovan up to speed, and then they can drop her. Linda notices that Donovan and Bradley are quite close, and then learns he is going to be VP, and she absolutely loses it. Linda storms straight into Bradley's office while he is interviewing some girl to become a slutty secretary. She demands to speak to him. She wants to know why someone who has only been there for 6 months is getting the promotion when she's been there for 7 years. He asks her to sit down and tells her she's great at her job, but as his VP, he needs someone who is actually good with people. But he has a proposition. They have a merger coming up with Bangkok. He wants her to join the team for that and to help set it up. Maybe she'll prove him wrong. That's when his beautiful fiancée Zuri walks in, so the meeting's over. Linda runs out of the office, crying, and sits in her car to tell herself she is enough. That next morning, she's ready to get on the plane with her colleagues and boss. She might have already found a loophole for their problem, but the others aren't there for business as much as fun. And while she is still working on the plane, the others are laughing because Donovan found Linda's Survivor audition tape. She overhears what they are watching and has to watch Bradley laughing at her in her face, so she deletes the work she did up until now. But then the plane shakes. Bradley and Linda are strapped in when the plane starts crashing down. Donovan and the 2 other colleagues get sucked out of the side of the plane, and then the plane crashes into the ocean. Linda manages to unbuckle her seatbelt and swims towards the hole in the side of the plane to swim up. The next morning, she wakes up on the beach. She is all alone on an abandoned island. As she walks on the beach, she finds Bradley face down in the sand. He is knocked out but alive, and his leg is seriously injured. She gets right to work with her survivor skills and builds them a hut for shelter and sets up a way to collect drinking water. While it's storming outside, she sits with Bradley through the night, and that morning he wakes. As she brings him some water to drink, he asks her if the others survived, but she tells him no. He's been out for about a day and a half, so he thanks her for saving his life. She makes them a fire so that she can cook them some fresh fish, but he is a spoiled bitch and doesn't want to eat it, so she forces the fish down his throat. In a weird way, this plane crash is her dream come true. He asks her how long it might take till they are rescued, but that's not something she really thought about yet. Her priority was survival. He tells her she works for him, and she should be doing more important stuff like making sure they get out of there. She does not take a liking to his tone, so she takes her stuff and wanders off. She leaves him to his own capabilities, and he very quickly finds out that he might need her to survive on the island, especially after the hut flies off during the strong night winds. He screams her name the next morning as his skin burns in the hot day sun, and she returns with water and makes it very clear to him that they are not in the office anymore, and then she leaves to hunt a boar. The boar charges at her, so she runs away, but distracts it with her blouse and jumps onto it with her spear, and then stabs it again on its second charge. But it's still not dead, so she grabs the spear from its head and stabs it until it is, and then drops its head at Bradley's feet. That night they feast, while Linda laughs about him not doing shit while she brought home the bacon. And that next day, she finds a waterfall, so she takes a shower. But suddenly, she hears a rumbling noise. There is a boat. She thinks about calling it over but can't. She is enjoying herself too much, so she goes back to Bradley instead. He is still moping around and not really helping for about 2 weeks now, and he is sick of it. It's time for him to take action so that they get saved. He is the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. He can do anything. She laughs. A company he inherited from his dead father. This pisses Bradley off, and he fires her while he stumbles off to make his own camp. And while he struggles to make anything even remotely remotely livable. She is expanding her paradise. Without her, he resorts to eating bugs. Yeah, it isn't great. He has to accept that she is better at this than him and comes back stumbling. He came to apologize to her for acting like a big baby. She is unfired, and he really wants to come back to camp and learn from her. But then he gets distracted by the fact she has a knife, so she tells him she found it on the beach and welcomes him back after some more humiliation. As the time passes and his leg starts to get better, she takes him for a walk. They hike all the way up the big mountain, and she teaches him about poisonous berries. She shows him that you can check by rubbing the berry onto your skin, and if there's a reaction, don't eat it. She shows him rocks in the distance that look like an X and tells him not to go there because there are a lot of poisonous thorns in that area, so he shouldn't go that way. On their way back, Linda slips and catches herself on a root. Luckily, Bradley pulls her back onto the path, and that night, they enjoy dinner and get drunk on toilet wine she made out of fermented fruits, and they finally open up to each other. Linda was actually married for 10 years, but then her husband died, but he shouldn't pity her because he wasn't a good guy. He couldn't love. Bradley tells her he knows that feeling. His parents never really loved him either. They were sociopaths, but at least now they know Bradley isn't a dick himself. It's his parents' fault. Bradley asks her how her husband died. She tells him he died in a car accident. He was a drinker, and he did something awful to her. He wanted to leave after, and normally she took the car keys from him after he drank, but now she gave them and told him to go. So he did, and he never came back. The next morning, Linda wakes up on the beach with a raging hangover. Bradley is washing himself in the ocean, and she is peeking. He definitely notices the lusty eyes on his ass crack. Later, the storm picks up again. Trees are falling over. They have to get off the beach right away, so she takes him to a cave. They are both freezing, so cuddling together is their only way to stay warm. But when she wakes up the next morning, Bradley's gone again. Linda finds him, and he found a spot for a new camp. He wants to build it together with her. And after they're done rebuilding, they go on a walk together where he really thanks her for everything she did and offers to make dinner for her. To her surprise, it actually looks great, but after the first bite she gets woozy and the cramps overtake her stomach. As she lies there, he pulls a raft out of the bushes and sails off. He screams back, "Fuck you, Linda," right as his raft gets hit by a wave and breaks. He is back on the beach, and Linda gives him mouth to mouth while she pukes all over his face because of the poison. That next day is awkward. He tries to apologize, but now she knows she really can't trust that lying piece of shit. She made him food, and while he eats, she tells him she understands it's hard for him to be in this submissive position. He starts to feel off, while she tells him it's difficult for him to depend on her for his survival. She poisoned him back, but she did it correctly with a blue ring octopus. This toxin makes it so he can see and experience, but can't move or feel. So she starts by putting him at ease. These toxins won't kill him, and they will wear off. She takes out her knife and puts it on the fire. She starts taking off his pants and then his underwear. She tells him that when she was young, they had a dog that didn't listen, and her dad told her it isn't the dog's fault, he just needs to be fixed. She takes the knife and tells him it's actually quite a simple medical procedure. The Egyptians did it all the time. She reminds him that no help is coming, and he needs to accept that he is stuck there with an asshole boss, and she can promise she's a much nicer boss than he would have been, except for this part, and then cuts off his balls. Except it aren't his balls. She just cut open a rat on his lap and tells him next time it won't be a rat, so he shouldn't mistake her kindness for weakness. He recovers and gets back to work, but doesn't talk to her for 2 days. As she is out to collect fruits, another boat passes by. Bradley's fiancée Zuri is on it. She can't believe she found her. Even after they all gave up the search, she never did. She begs Linda to take her to Bradley right away. Linda is stressing out and asks Zuri's guide if there are more people looking or just them, and it's just them. She guides them onto the mountain to the ravine where she tripped and tells them to just follow the trail while she ties her shoe. Zuri rounds the corner and slips. The guide tries to pull her up, but Linda slowly backs away. Sometime later, Linda returns to Bradley with dinner and looks down. He notices that she's been depressed for some time now and tries to cheer her up with a boar hunt. He tells her he needs her, but when she doesn't get up, he eyes her knife. She wakes up in the middle of the night and swears she can hear Zuri calling her name. Zuri strands onto the beach. That lanky bitch doesn't know when to give up. She wants to know why she tried to kill her, but it was all a nightmare. The next morning, Bradley goes out to hunt alone and finds a boar on the beach, but he scares it off and finds a hand in the sand instead. It's Zuri's. He screams and runs back to camp to confront Linda. He asks her if she killed her and shows her the ring. Linda tells him she slipped, so he asks her why she didn't tell him. So she says he wouldn't have believed her that it was an accident, and she is right. He doesn't believe her, but she swears it was an accident. He asks, just like her husband's death was an accident. She looks for the knife, knife, but he took it. So she runs into the forest, and he goes after her and looks for her. But she is better at this and sneaks up on him to choke him with her shoelaces. He manages to throw her off and pulls the hair from her scalp. So she runs at him and bites a piece of flesh from his shoulder and his finger. He sticks a hand into her eye socket, but she hits him with a rock. She stole the wedding ring and swallows it. So he runs at her and pushes her head into the dirt, but she manages to grab the knife and stab him. So he runs off, away from her as far as he can towards the X-Rocks. He makes it there, and instead of poison thorns, there is a luxury mansion. So he goes there and knocks on the door. He manages to open one of the sliding doors and tries to take care of his stab wound, but the lights go off. Linda is in there with him. She is watching him with the security camera. This home is, of course, where she got the knife. She has to admit one thing to him. They could have been rescued a while ago, but she wasn't ready to leave yet. She needed a little more time. She watched how the caretakers took supplies to the mansion, and then she broke in and enjoyed all the luxuries the mansion had to offer, and then they were alone again. Just her and her new bird. It was perfect for a little while. Things kept happening. It wasn't like she planned it. She never planned to kill Zuri and the guide. Then Linda sneaks up on Bradley with a shotgun and apologizes. It didn't have to be this way. He agrees and apologizes too. He really was a monster. He cries. He is so broken, but he has changed. Because of her, he's changed. She took care of him, taught him things. She saved him. He felt love from her like he never felt from anyone before. He thinks they can make this work on this island. She has been saying that. There is nothing for them back there. He agrees. They can stay just them. He sees it now. They can be actually happy. There is no reason to go back. They can stay on the island together forever. Their own little fairy tale. And then he tells her he loves her, but she notices one of the horns is gone from the statues. So he charges at her and grabs the gun from her, but it's empty. She takes a golf club and slams the ball right onto the green. The audience applauds because she is a guest at the annual celebrity golf tournament. It's been a year since they found her, the sole survivor alone on that raft. They ask her how she did it. She tells them it wasn't easy, but the memory of her lost colleagues kept her strong. She is now a famous author, and her story will be turned into a movie. And of course, she is working on a self-help book with the slogan, "No help is coming, so you better start saving yourself." So now for the ending. Clearly, without Bradley, there is no shot that Linda is going to take over the company. Logically, it probably went tits up after Bradley died. Linda wrote a book about being a survivor and is making a living out of her time on the island. That is all really clear. But I had a question still. Did Linda kill her husband? Not directly. She wished he was dead and definitely gave him the opportunity to end it by letting him drive drunk. But she didn't do it on purpose. But she does have it in her to kill. That thing became quite clear when she sedated Bradley and threatened to cut off his nutsack. And of course, the moment she actually killed him. And then let's dive a little deeper. Because who is the bad guy in the movie? Linda tells it best. If he would have been the boss on the island, she would have had to endure way worse. And back at home, Bradley was an absolute asshole. This was mainly because he came from money and never learned how to behave like a normal, decent human being. Still doesn't excuse his behavior. Now, Linda was in an abusive marriage for 10 years and kinda maybe killed her husband. She did her absolute best at work, but because she dressed herself like an ugly duckling and didn't play golf, her colleagues just used her and never praised her for her work, which was fine with her until she learned the new VP was going to be one of Bradley's frat buddies, and then she lost it. She didn't become horrible, but she became a little homicidal because of her trauma. So in the end, the movie shows us that our past shapes us into the person we are, and only we can save ourselves from becoming a monster. And that's a wrap. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.